If you're anything like I used to be, you probably walk into social situations hoping you'll be perfect, hoping that everything will turn out just right, that you will impress people, that people are gonna like you because you are so knowledgeable and funny, and you will be able to integrate in every single group seamlessly. And unless these conditions are satisfied, you are tense, you encounter quite a lot of social pressure, and there is a lot of friction to you going out and talking to people in general. That actually makes a lot of sense because what I've discovered is that when you hold yourself in such high standards, expecting yourself to perform like Superman in every single situation, you're just setting yourself up for a crash straight away. You don't even give yourself a chance to be yourself because you just have to raise up to these sky high standards. So then, the moment someone looks at you a bit weirdly, the moment you say a joke and people don't really understand it, you start feeling even more anxious. You start feeling attacked because now your reputation and now that sky high standard of performing like Superman, they are threatened. And unless you can get to that point, then there is no point in talking to people in the first place because the normal, the real you, is just a loser. Isn't that the case? At least that's what you believe. But what if, just hear me out for a moment, what if instead of just holding yourself in such high standards and having such a high bar of bare minimum to reach in every single situation, what if you were to just embrace every single moment and expect just a bit of rejection, expect a bit of failure? Is it really that bad? What if you walk into a room, into a new group, expecting to be rejected, expecting to be judged by people? You welcome all of these negative things wholeheartedly. Can you imagine how powerful you can be? Because at that point, you have nothing to lose anymore. Like a person that doesn't fear anything has nothing to lose. And if you expect things to go wrong, then they have no power over you anymore. They have no control over you because now you are the one in control. You are prepared for every single situation. Previously, you're just walking on eggshells all the time, trying to avoid discomfort, trying to avoid situations that might trigger you. But now you are powerful because now you don't fear anything at all. And you might think that such an approach is self destructive because eventually you do want to show the best version of you, right? You don't want to keep failing, failing, failing. Like, what if I fail forever? People are not gonna like me. Like, there's no way people are gonna like me if I fail forever. Well, you will not fail forever. Realistically speaking, you will not fail forever. You might go through like a couple of failures here and there in every conversation, a couple of awkward moments, but when you expect them, they can't do anything to you because you are protected by your expectations. In a way, we are kind of using the pessimism here in order to shield us from feeling triggered and from feeling threatened as well. But I don't really see any bad aspect of it. I think that's a great weapon and tactic to use because eventually the people that are socially confident, they accept everything wholeheartedly anyway, and that's the main difference maker here. You have to understand that you're probably quite defensive in your approach of just interacting with another human being. You're probably just trying to avoid this discomfort, these potential rejections and judgments all the time. And yeah, people might say that this is because of childhood trauma, and that's probably something that's quite accurate to state. But at the same time, we shouldn't really focus so much on the past, and instead, let's just see what can we do from now on. And the best thing that you can do from now on in order to change this and to be able to talk to anyone, anywhere, at any time is to expect potential judgments, to basically accept reality as it comes, and to understand that it's not about you. Like, if people reject you, it's probably not about you most of the time. Like, not everyone's gonna vibe with you. You already know that. We can already agree on that. Not everyone is gonna be like matchy to your personality, and some people are gonna be in a negative mood when they interact to you, and that's perfectly fine. Again, just move on to the next person. This is the mentality that you should have, an abundance mentality as well, where you understand that there are 8 billion people on earth. So, what are a couple of judgments here and there? Do they really make a difference? Do they really matter so much? Or is it more like in your head, just your limiting beliefs trying to hold you back? You need to take a bit of courage and to start expecting these rejections. And when you do, you become untouchable. There's nothing to defend anymore. And now you can focus your attention outwards more like you're supposed to. Now, there are always gonna be moments where you still feel uncomfortable, like even if you go ahead and manage to accept everything fully, to expect the rejections and the failures, we could say, there are still gonna be moments where the conversations are a bit cringe. For example, meeting a new group and people are quite anxious themselves and not really talking that much. Like, I've been in those situations. I still find myself in similar situations. But you have to give yourself a bit of time as well, because oftentimes people just adapt to the new environment, to the new group. And as time goes on, as like a couple of minutes, 15, 30 minutes pass, people start just chit-chatting with one another and finding common interests and things to talk about. And also, when it comes to talking to strangers, some strangers are just not gonna be down to talking to you, and that's perfectly fine. Just use the abundance mindset. Next, okay, I got rejected. It was not really that pleasant, yeah, but there are so many people left to talk to. So, okay, I welcome the rejection. Let's move on to the next person. This should be the mentality. And this makes you unbreakable because now there is no failure. Failure is just data, failure is just one step of the journey. And eventually, accepting failure and potential judgments is also the way to deepen your friendship, we could say, because the thing that bonds us is not perfection. People don't really like perfection. For example, if you think about Brad Pitt, you probably admire Brad Pitt. He's such a cool guy. But would you really like to have Brad Pitt as a best friend? Probably not. You admire Brad Pitt from a distance. Now, people might get to this point with you if you are too perfect, so vulnerabilities facilitate friendships as well. But this is probably a topic for a different video anyway. To wrap this all up, the next interactions you get into, really try to destroy your standards of performing like Superman all the time. Destroy the expectations altogether and instead welcome rejections. Because rejections can't really touch you. Rejections do nothing to you if you don't allow them yourself. If you don't think something's cringe, then it's not cringe. It's as simple as that. And when you take the courage to embrace these rejections and potential judgments, what you're gonna find out is that you are free, you are powerful, you are in control, and your social life turns around completely, makes a complete 180. And that's exactly what I want for you as well.